Is your Halloween costume ableist? Hello, I'm Eliza. I'm a disabled content creator from London, and I create content every 2 weeks all about disability awareness, LGBTQ+ positivity and lifestyle things. And welcome to my YouTube channel. Although you can't see him, my dog Pod is actually next to me. And today we're going to be chatting about whether or not your Halloween costume is ableist. Spooky season is upon us. But did you know that Halloween also uncovers a little bit of a nasty habit in people's dressing up with their Halloween costumes, and sometimes they can be offensive. Now, unfortunately, this happens to a lot of minority groups of people, from racism to ableism. I've seen it all around the streets of London, and of course, I'm going to be talking about my experiences with disability, but I've linked some amazing videos down below that discuss about racism and costumes that you should avoid around racism as well. So the first one that we're going to chat about is a three blind mice costume. This is based off the nursery rhyme Three Blind Mice, and it's basically a costume where you have three people that dress up as mice that are blind. Now, this isn't okay because you are dressing up as a blind person, and dressing up as a blind person is not ever okay, particularly as well with the three blind mice. They often dig very deeply into the stereotype of blindness. I have lots and lots of blind friends, and they do not look like this. Some blind people do look like this, other blind people don't. Some blind people wear sunglasses and use a cane. Other blind people, you wouldn't know that they were blind by looking at them. Other people use a guide dog. Other people have a guide that goes with them. Some people wear sunglasses all the time. Some people only wear sunglasses when the light is dim or too bright, or whatever the situation may be. And also, people wear sunglasses inside that aren't blind as well. They're kind of a fashionable thing these days. I saw Harry Styles wearing sunglasses inside last week at Paris Fashion Week, so they're definitely worn inside by other people. This costume is very, very stereotypical, and stereotypes are not the best. They often perpetuate ideas that are not true or false and can be harmful for disabled people in the long run. So it's just not the best costume to wear. Please avoid it. You could just do three mice or a mouse or three different animals. I'm sure that there's various times that three animals are together in a TV show. I can't think of any at the top of my head, but I'm sure that there are. So best to avoid this one because blind people exist. You shouldn't be dressing up as blind people, whether or not you're a mouse or not. Number two, the next one that we're going to talk about is the costume which is often labeled mental asylum patient, which is a very outdated and offensive term to lots of people and not a term that we use anymore. We normally will just say somebody with mental health problems or a service user or somebody that may be sectioned. And this is a very outdated way of looking after somebody that is not very well. Generally, these costumes are linked to straitjackets, and they're basically making fun of people who were put in straitjackets and are wearing a costume and implying that people who are mentally unwell are scary or something to be afraid of, which is not true. We know from years and years and years of research that people who are mentally unwell are not scary and are much more likely to harm themselves over somebody else. So this costume just perpetuates the idea that people who are mentally unwell are scary, you should be afraid of them, that they're like something that should be dressed up as a costume, something to make a mockery of, when they're just people who are not very well, that have a mental health condition and they need support. And also, these straitjackets are very outdated. They were very harmful. Back in the day when we were looking after people who were not very well, we were giving them really incorrect care that was really harmful for them, from straitjackets to operations, things that just are not beneficial to anybody that is feeling unwell at the time. This costume is very outdated and one that is definitely good to avoid. Number three, the Oompa Loompa costume. Now, at the beginning, I spoke about how lots of people would dress up as racist characters as well. And this is one of those moments where racism and ableism intersects, because Oompa Loompas are both racist and ableist. So the Oompa Loompas in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, who are actually based off a tribe in Africa who were called pygmy people, and basically Wonka shipped them in to England, which is very problematic, to work in his chocolate factory. Now, this group of people actually exist, and they are little people as well. So being an Oompa Loompa is very offensive because one, is racist because you're dressing up as a character that is very racist in a film, film. And also they are little people. These are people that have dwarfism or various different types of disabilities that mean that they are of short stature. And this is a disability. I often see people saying that being a little person is not a disability. It definitely is a disability. The world is not built for little people. It is very difficult to navigate. Getting on a chair or sofa or bed would have to all be adapted. Clothing would have to be adaptive. Trying to just do everyday things can be a lot more difficult if you're a little person. It's definitely a disability. It is definitely disabling, and it's not okay to ever dress up as a little person in any way, in any form. But why isn't it okay? Well, dressing up as a disabled person is never okay. Unfortunately, disabled people are regularly told that we are faking or are fake claim, particularly online, and often it means that we're told that we're making up our disabilities for attention. This isn't a thing, by the way. I've spoken about this a lot in previous videos. I will link them up here. But also, we aren't a costume. Unfortunately, when it comes to disability, I can't take on or off my disability. I can't just decide not to be disabled when it suits me, or when I'm in a situation where it would be really annoying to be disabled, which, by the way, is pretty much all of the time because there's a real lack of access, and being disabled can be really, really tough. So if you just decide to dress up as a disabled person and make a mockery of us, one, you're literally making a mockery of people that actually exist. Two, disabled people can't just dress up as a disabled person or decide to take off our disability as and when it suits us. And unfortunately, this idea of dressing up as a disabled person or pretending to be disabled actually can run through and end up harming disabled people. I've had friends that have been told that they thought that their teachers thought that they were faking to get attention or just to be annoying, or when a substitute teacher would come in, they would think that they were just pretending to take the mick or something. So it actually can be quite harmful. So it's best not to dress up as any type of people, any type of community, because it's not helpful and you're probably just adding to a stereotype anyway. Number 4, dressing up as an old lady, particularly one with a mobility aid. As I said before, please don't dress up using a mobility aid of any kind if you do not need them. Often they will use the walking stick for like comedic value, whatever that means in this situation. It sits really uncomfortable for me as someone that uses a mobility aid. The reason for this is a few different reasons. The first one is people often see using a mobility aid as, quote, giving in, which it's definitely not. And within society, it is seen as a really negative thing. And so when you're a disabled person, it can take a really long time to accept that you need to use a mobility aid. And older people are disabled people, by the way, if they have a disability, obviously, or need to use a mobility aid, whatever that looks like. There's often this idea that older people are not disabled. Of course, they may not choose to use that label, but within our society, they're still disabled in the way that it's difficult to walk or move around, whatever it is for them. So just because they're older, they can be older and also disabled on top of that. It can take a really long time to want to use a mobility aid because society sees mobility aids as such a negative thing. They see them as something that is bad and wrong, and you're giving in and you shouldn't be using it. And so you can feel a lot of shame as a disabled person about using a mobility aid, and then seeing somebody just making fun of it or wearing it as a, quote, costume feels really iffy to me, and I really dislike it. And also, as I just said, we can't choose to take our disability off like a Halloween costume can be taken off. So using a mobility aid for Halloween is just this idea that anyone's faking, and also we can bend over and get over access limitations, and that's not true. We're still disabled and we can't just take off our disability and decide that it's a costume and that we don't need to use it today. Quick break here while I jump in to talk to you about Patreon. Patreon is a platform where you can financially directly support creators, and in return you get lots of cool perks like early access to YouTube videos like these, a monthly newsletter, and a lovely community where you can meet like-minded people. And one of the things that I am running at the moment is a special offer that the first 60 paid members that sign up will get this lovely Sharky pin. Look at how lovely it is. It's rainbow and very beautiful. So if you are interested in, one, supporting me, and two, getting this amazing pin, then you can sign up in the description below. And I can't wait to see you in the Radiant Rainbow Club. Number 5, dressing up as a burn victim or somebody with any type of facial difference. Having a facial difference or any type of difference in the world can be really, really difficult because society is gross and can make people feel bad for having a facial difference. And that's not okay. People with facial differences are beautiful, amazing, all bodies are different, and it's not okay to make fun or make somebody feel bad for having a facial difference. Who decided what's a, quote, good face anyway? I feel like the society that we've built can be horrific. Anyway, it's not okay to dress up or make a mockery or pretend that having a burn of some kind is, quote, scary or something to be afraid of. This is something that a lot of burn victims talk about a lot, that people can be, quote, afraid of them, or children can be quite afraid of them because of the society that we've built, and the idea that having a burn or having a facial difference of any kind is something to be scared of or a bad thing, when it's not. Also, these are people that have often gone through a very traumatic or horrible experience and probably don't want to be reliving that on Halloween, seeing people that have just put it on their face and then are coming to their door, knocking on the door, being like, ooh, I'm scary. It's just offensive. It's not okay. It's never, ever okay to dress up as somebody or someone's difference or someone's disability. It is offensive. And also, a burn victim can't just take it off. They have to deal with that stigma that society has created every single day. So please don't dress up as one this Halloween. Number 6, the final one. Please don't dress up as Nessa Rose or Professor X or any wheelchair user, unless you're a wheelchair user yourself, like I am. Because, as I said in the beginning, it is offensive. Fun fact, Nessa Rose has actually never been played by a wheelchair user on the West End or in Broadway. It is always played by non-disabled people, and the storyline is pretty problematic. But anyway, aside from that, it's always played by non-disabled people, and that is very, very frustrating. It is really hard for wheelchair users to get work in theatre or any type of work, and it's really frustrating to see a non-disabled person playing this part, and the part also just being quite offensive in many, many ways. As I said, we cannot choose to just give up our wheelchair, not go in our wheelchair, not use our wheelchair. We have to face inaccessibility every single day. It is tiring. We have to face people's stigmas, people being horrible to us, people talking over us, whatever it is. It's exhausting. We don't need you to be dressing up as us on Halloween. It's not funny, it's not cool, it's not cute. Just don't do it. So those are some of the costumes that you should avoid wearing this Halloween. But if you are stuck with what you should wear, here are some of my suggestions. A frog, a spider, Shrek, a dog, Superman, and a sweet, and so many more. There are literally so many costumes that you can wear that avoid offending someone, hurting somebody's feelings, or being offensive in the process. So I can't wait to see what you wear, and there's loads of different options, don't worry. And there we have it. Are you doing anything to celebrate Halloween? Let me know down below. And don't forget that you can join the Radiant Rainbow Club in the description as well, and check out some of the amazing videos that I mentioned at the beginning. If you do want to keep up to date with me outside of YouTube, all my socials are on the screen now, and there's definitely going to be some cool Halloween costumes, so I can't wait to see you over there. Bye!